Good evening and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Highly urbanized and densely populated, Hong Kong has very little agriculture. However, the city has a long history of rice cultivation. Recently, a rare local heirloom rice species, which had disappeared for decades, is back in production on our farmlands. Pearl Magazine's Tina Zhang meets scientists, farmers, and environmental groups to learn about the restoration of our agricultural history's missing chapter. Angelica Klein had a long and early trip this Saturday morning.
My name's Angelica Klein. I live here in Hong Kong. Today, woke up super early to get here because I live on Llama, so that was a trek because now we're out in Shengshui.
Angelica travels all the way from the southern part of the city to this wetland, which is very close to the border with Shenzhen, to join a rice cultivation program organized by a local NGO.
What we're going to be doing today, which is harvesting the rice seedlings over on this side and picking them out, making sure the roots don't get torn, and then transplanting them into these larger rice paddies and making sure to follow the growing patterns and evenly space the rice so that it can grow to its full potential.
Angelica is a huge advocate of local agriculture.
I fully want everyone to experience this at least once in their life. Partaking in other forms of local agriculture is so important to understand where your food is grown. I know that there were large family-owned rice paddies at the very beginning, and then as land development and high-rises were built, less agricultural land was used for rice cultivation. I'm very sad and disappointed.
Cami Hui works for the NGO as a conservation manager. She has been growing rice here for over 10 years.
This is what we called Long Valley, and now the place we're standing on is Ho Shan Han. We ask the public to come over to plant and harvest rice together so that they know that rice can be grown in Hong Kong.
Cami figures that every year, around 80 participants join the program.
Some people who come to visit will be surprised. Does Hong Kong still have rice cultivation? Actually, in the past, rice cultivation was all over Hong Kong. You can check the aerial photos. Even places like Yamate and other locations in Kowloon were mostly covered by rice paddies.
Hong Kong is now widely known as a highly urbanized city with very little agriculture. However, in the old days, rice cultivation once flourished.
In the northern parts of Hong Kong, there's a very long history of agriculture, particularly rice. We believe that the cultivation probably starts in the Song Dynasty when there's a lot of immigrants from the middle part of China to Hong Kong, following the emperor of the Song Dynasty, the last emperor.
Professor Lam Hon Ming is an agriculture expert who has been doing research for over 20 years. He says in the 1950s, 80% of Hong Kong's agricultural fields were covered by rice paddies. But in subsequent years, rice cultivation started to decrease.
The most drastic change probably come in 80s because Hong Kong government at that time had determined to develop new territories by building satellite towns. They collect the land from the landowner and developed it into buildings. While they're doing that, they have melted the original rice field into small pieces. Then the whole thing become difficult to return.
Professor Lam says that after the 80s, the city's rice fields nearly disappeared. Most of the remaining farmers also replaced rice cultivation with high-profit vegetables or flower businesses.
It's a loss that we almost totally eliminate rice cultivation in Hong Kong, which has been such an important history of this city.
Even my grandpa's generation had stopped farming. They sit around doing nothing. Those who have lands can collect rent or sell them to make a living.
Growing up in a small village here in Shengshui, Kan Wai Hong heard a lot of stories about local rice.
In the past, there were 3 famous species in Hong Kong. One was Yun Long's Sea Mew, one was Sai Mei, and the other was Fa Yu Zai. In the 50s and 60s, most farmers in Hong Kong cultivated these kinds of rice.
In recent years, Kan Wai Hong has been helping Cami, the conservation manager, take care of the rice paddies near his village as a full-time farmer. The several rice varieties they're growing are mostly from Taiwan or mainland China.
We have tried to find well-known species like Yunlong sea mew, and we have asked different people, but we cannot find any.
Some of Hong Kong's local rice varieties were well known for their good qualities.
It was a legend saying that the Hong Kong rice called sea meal had been used as a gift to the emperor in Qing dynasty.
However, along with the decrease in local farmlands, rice seeds also disappeared. In recent years, Professor Lam noticed that local farmers have a growing interest to restore rice cultivation, and he decided to give them a helping hand.
Hong Kong has a lot of local rice varieties for different purposes. I believe that there are more than 30 that's still kept by the International Seed Banks. So we have ordered 5 from the International Seed Bank, and among the 5 that we received, we successfully generated the DNA ID for 2 of them. And there are also 3 more that are experiments undertaking.
In the 1960s and 1970s, the government sent some local rice seeds overseas for preservation purposes. Recently, using state-of-the-art genome analysis techniques, Professor Lam's team successfully unveiled the genetic identification of 2 kinds of local heirloom rice varieties, which had been cultivated in Hong Kong and obtained from an international seed bank. The seeds of Fa Yu Tsai, one of the varieties, have been reintroduced to local farmers upon confirmation of their purity. Back in Long Valley, farmer Kan Wai Hong also received some seeds and planted them earlier this year.
We used to grow 3 kinds of rice, and now we added another kind, Fa Yu Zai. We only received about 10 kilograms of rice after planting the first crop. Hopefully, there will be more coming out this time. I hope to receive about 100 kilograms.
Hong Kong rice is harvested twice every year. After transplanting the seedlings, it took a little over 3 months for them to ripen.
During the harvest, even if I stood far away, before seeing the paddies, I could already smell the fragrance of rice. Very comfortable.
Ida Loy has been participating in different rice farming activities here with her family over the past few years.
The rice is chewy and fibrous. It is very comfortable to eat and easy to digest. You know that there are very few people in Hong Kong who still grow rice. I think this is a good opportunity. Now there is a food crisis all over the world. If you know rice cultivation, at least you won't starve to death. If you have seeds and land, you can grow rice. I think it is a survival activity.
She's also happy to know that the rice she grows can provide essential food for other creatures.
Every year from October to November, the yellow-breasted bunting, which is a critically endangered bird in the world, will pass through Hong Kong. And it will stop to rest, look for food, and then resume its journey to South Africa to spend the winter there. We won't harvest some fields of the second cropping and leave the grain for them to eat.
After harvesting, even the straw won't be wasted.
Old people regarded the straw as a treasure. They would burn the straw to make alkaline water, which can make traditional noodles and rice dumplings. It can be used to weave handicrafts, like straw shoes, baskets, and mats. They would also make straw paper. which is used for cleaning when they went to the toilet. After the rice is grown, it's not only for eating. We'll have straw and chaff, which is useful too. We'll teach people how to upcycle and make the most of it. Don't waste it.
Professor Lam believes that it is important to reconnect Hong Kong people with their food.
Hong Kong is a highly developed city. The customers now are very alienated from the food. When you ask somebody, so where is the rice come from? Oh, yeah, supermarket. And how does rice look like? Oh, white color. Right? So that's not correct, right?
In 2021, each Hong Kong person consumed 37 kilograms of rice on average. Most of it was imported from Thailand, Vietnam, mainland China, and Cambodia.
Outside rice really providing the bulk of our necessity, of course. But the local varieties give a different meaning, different value to local people, not in terms of providing all the rice we need for the Hong Kong citizen, but more to recreate a historical story about Hong Kong, which actually involves heavily the agricultural activity. Citizens can have a more rooted understanding of how Hong Kong come from and what have we gone through. And by looking at the seeds that has been passed from many generations ago, can we try to understand what are their hope to our city and this generation, and carry on their visual thinkings to develop Hong Kong to a better place.
When we come back, a hybrid idea for rice farmers. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Hong Kong currently has around 2,500 farms. Over the past decade, many of them have switched from labor-intensive rice farming to high-value businesses such as vegetable and fruit growing. Tina Jiang meets scholars and government officials who want to facilitate the development of local agriculture with a reintroduced rice variety and a farmer who has an even better idea.
Hi, Liu Sang.
Today, Professor Lam Hon Ming is visiting a local rice farmer.
The first half of 2022, I heard that there are 11 farms growing local varieties such as Fa Yu Zai, and that could be more in the next round.
Farmer Liu started farming in his 20s. Last year, he planted the local heirloom rice variety, Fa Yu Zai, after the professor introduced it to him.
Hong Kong is considered as a subtropical region. We can have 2 croppings per year. By December, we will have a second batch of rice coming out. And I have heard that many people are looking for Fa Yu Zai to try, but there are not much available in the market because the quantity is still limited.
Professor Lam believes that more farmers will want to grow local rice because there is a market for it.
This whole project is an initiative to help the transforming and reforming of the local agricultural business. If they grow some local rice variety which carry a different value, they can sell it as a reasonable price to survive in this commercial city.
One government official agrees with the professor.
The aims of this is to improve the quality of the local crop varieties as well as the income of the farmers.
For the past few years, Wang Munwai and Professor Lam have been working together to reintroduce local rice varieties to the city's remaining farmers.
Last year, we held seminar for the paddy farmers, and then after that, we distribute the seeds. The first time when we approached them for the Fa Yu Zai, I believe they have doubt because they have never planted that kind of variety before.
But after many discussions, some farmers were persuaded and decided to get on board. Joe Choi is one of them.
Fa Yu Zai was last year when the AFCD contacted us. They said, "We have some seeds. Do you want to try planting them?" They gave us 200 or 300 grams, not much, but the germination rate is good. I found that the variety is very strong and the yield is also okay. The fragrance is so different from other kinds. It's very sweet.
Today, they are meeting the public to share the story of local rice.
We were unlucky last year. The wild boars came to disturb, and we couldn't put all the harvest into our pockets. But we tried our best to collect a few kilograms. Because there are very few, I was not willing to eat them. I wanted to save the seeds so that this year we can plant again. We will continue growing Fa Yu Zai for the coming 2 croppings. I agree with what the professor said. We have inherited something, and we should continue to tell the story of Hong Kong.
Now that the rice is produced, it still needs to be commercialized.
We have got a whole rice factory in Hong Kong, and we can help with the post-harvesting. So we mill the rice here, we color sort the rice here, we sift the rice here, and then we pack the rice here. Our marketing team designed the whole box to present the Fa Yu Zai. It's actually showing the people of Hong Kong how good the local produce actually is. I think this is a very exciting and very meaningful project for us.
Anthony Lam is the 3rd generation of a local rice company, which is one of the leading rice wholesalers and distributors in the industry. He has always enjoyed eating rice, even as a child.
My family actually did the rice business, so all the QC tested rice, they would cook for us to eat. It's an interesting family dinner. So we would guess what kind of rice this is. Where is this from? And then this has cultivated our interest in the rice business. We always heard about local rice, how good they are. We always heard about some of the local rice that actually, at the older times, was sent to Beijing for the emperor to eat. And I've never tasted this, only a legend to me.
By helping local farmers, he finally had a chance to have a taste.
I've never had such good flavor before. I love it. Especially if you eat it with the local cuisine, the preserved vegetable and pork, the salted fish with the minced meat. It's harder than the Southeast Asian jasmine rice, okay? Because each and every kernel actually stands out. So the sauce can actually penetrate it deep inside the rice, wrap around each of the rice grain, and when you eat it, the taste of the rice and the taste of the sauce actually comes out together. And I would say the Fa Yu Zai has a vanilla aroma.
Several local farmers planted Fa Yu Zai in April this year and harvested around 300 kilograms of the first batch. It was selling online at $78 per portion of 125 grams, around 50 times pricier than the market price. And it sold out in less than an hour. One local farmer, however, doubts whether consumers' passion for this product will last.
Now there is local rice selling at $70 to $80 per catty, and I think it's mainly because of emotions rather than rational consumption. But since there is such support for Hong Kong, is it possible to have more reasonable and sustainable consumption?
Since 2020, Nick and his partner have started an aquaponics trial program near Tai Mo Shan, the highest peak in the city.
This is the foot of Tai Mo Shan. In fact, whether it's the well water or the stream flowing on the ground, it all comes from the mountain. After every heavy rain, the place will be full of water the next day. Hong Kong itself has good water and soil because Hong Kong has been free from industrial pollution for many years. Although its water resources are not rich, the quality is very good.
Nick believes that rice cultivation has always been labor-intensive, but the revenue is not attractive enough, and that is why many farmers quit.
Agriculture must be able to make money in order to develop sustainably. We have been thinking about what kind of agriculture is not hard to do but profitable. The symbiosis of fish and rice is such a model.
The system couples fish and rice, whereby the nutrient-rich water is fed to the plants.
We have two kinds of fish here. One is grass carp with a crispy texture, and the other is California bass. Everyone should be familiar with grass carp. Hong Kong people can have hot pot every day, and it's an important ingredient for that. The bass also has good meat quality and taste, and it has fewer bones but more nutritional value.
The area they have now can cultivate over 5,000 kilograms of freshwater fish annually, which can potentially make hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit.
In the aquaponics of fish and rice, of course you grow rice too. Our scale is very small. The piece of land we can plant is about 1 acre, which equals around 7,000 feet. The yield is low, about 400 catties a year. It won't work if we grow edible rice on such a small scale. In the end, we chose not to grow edible rice, but to use it to make liquor products.
一趟經歷4年關於香港農業嘅旅程。
Last year, they worked on growing Japanese winemaking rice, which was later supplied to a brewery in Japan and produced 2 kinds of sake.
It's easier to compare the value of rice and liquor, and it's easier to share wine than rice. How many people can share a bowl of rice? But if we use it to make wine, there will be a little more market reaction.
The first batch of sake is produced in a limited edition of 500 and priced at $480 per bottle.
The part of rice planting has not disappeared in Hong Kong. There should be people in Yeo and Kam Tin, but due to scale and market constraints, all these plantings exist in the form of sightseeing or workshops where children come together, plant and participate in the whole process, and take a pound or 2 of rice at the end. A course fee may be charged too. But can rice be sold in the market in the form of a crop?
Essentially, the idea is to show the value of Hong Kong's agriculture.
People think that we have brought farming culture back to Hong Kong, but it is not the case. We are looking for a possibility in farming culture. We're not trying to live a hard life or do agricultural tourism or combine some blind support or other emotions to do business. We hope that our aquaponics model will let everyone see the value of agricultural products. If it is worth $30, we sell it at $30. Hong Kong agriculture can make money.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.